Dr. Brian Mann, Texas A&M University. Wanted to just bring up a quick little thing that's a little bit different the way that I look at the exercise selection than a lot of other people. The NSCA always talks about core exercises, and that's fine. I don't like to think of them as core and assistance and structural and power. What I like to think of, and what you'll often hear me talk about whenever I'm lecturing, are big rock exercises. And somebody was like, "What do you mean by a big rock exercise, Dr. Mann?" And really, the way that I always take it back to that because of a story that was told to me that I remember from whenever I was an undergraduate back in the Stone Age, uphill both ways and 6 feet of snow, whatever. And it was that this professor came in and he set down a big pickle jar, right? And he started putting these big rocks in. And he asked the students, "Is this full?" Like, "Yeah, it's full." He goes, "Okay." They grabbed some pebbles and he poured those in, and you have to shake it around a little bit and let them settle in. He goes, "Okay, is it full now? You told me it was full a minute ago. Is it full?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's full." And then he grabbed some sand and then he poured that in. And he said, "Is it full now? You told me it's full twice and I've continued to add stuff in. Is this full?" And they said, "Yeah, no, absolutely, it's full. You can't fit anything else in it." I said, "Okay." Reaches into his bag and you hear that unmistakable sound of using a countertop to open a beer bottle, and he pours the beer into the sand, or into the jar with the sand and everything else. And I say, "Is this full now?" And the students say, "Yeah, absolutely." He said, "Hey, I want you to know something. This jar represents your life. In each of these size stones, they have do something that fits in with that. The big rocks, this are the big things that matter to you in life, like your family, your faith. The next size down, these are the things that are pretty important, like work and hobbies and things like that. And the sand represents all the minutia of life." And then, of course, the student asks the professor, "What's the beer for?" And he's like, "I'm glad you asked, because no matter how busy you are, you've always got time for a beer with your friends." Now, I like to take these views of life and apply them towards training. Our big rock exercises are the center of our program. It's what we build everything upon. What is going to have the biggest impact for sports performance? Now, for some sports, it might be the squats. For some, it might be cleans. For some, it might be lunges. For some, maybe kayak. It might be bench row. It's going to vary by sport. But that needs to be the centerpiece. Think about, what are my big rock exercises? And then my smaller exercises would be the assistance exercises that help to support that big rock exercise. It's like, what do you mean by that? Well, let's say that I feel like the squat is what's going to have the biggest, is my big rock exercise for my offensive and defensive linemen, let's say, or maybe my props in the scrum and rugby. And so I want to push that up as high as possible. Well, what are the things that would help to support the squat? Well, some of that's going to be technique dependent, of course, but we'll probably be looking at, your trunk, right? Your abs and your low back, they need to be strong. Your hamstrings need to be able to be strong enough to sit back. Of course, your quads need to be strong. Your abductors need to be strong enough to maintain position. We need to have mobile enough ankles, etc. So the things that would enhance the squat and help to build it, those would be the assistance exercise. And then the sand would be things like stuff that you throw in there for fluff. And maybe it's just for fun and good times. Like pec flies, and that might be a horrible example. Somebody will say, "Well, the pec fly is great for stretching out the pec major." Fantastic. Okay. That was just, some of the different bodybuilding exercise, concentration curls, preacher curls, something that you're trying to target one specific muscle, and maybe it's more for aesthetics so that somebody feels good in their jersey. It's not that it's not important. It's just it shouldn't be taking up the main part of the jar. So when you're writing your program, think about it that way. I need to put my big rocks in first. Then I need to put in the things that are going to support those big rock exercises, because at the end of the day, what matters is my sports performance. So I need to make sure that everything is going towards enhancing that. And then the stuff that maybe the athletes like doing just because it's fun, the curls, tricep kickbacks. I don't know. There's tons of exercises that I'm sure anyone that I name, somebody would find a reason that they might like it to be their big rock exercise. But I think you understand the point that I'm making here. It's that, it's the fluff stuff that goes at the end. Now, if we're so concerned with the fluff, we'll miss out on the bigger things in life. If we're so concerned in the fluff in training, we don't have room to do the squats, or we're having a exercise session that instead of lasting 45 to 60 minutes lasts 2 hours. Well, I think that it's important that we think about our big rock exercises and we prioritize as such. And if we can make the same thought process to go towards life as we do towards the training, for other people, it's going to be the opposite way. It's probably going to be the training that you do towards life. I'm a meathead through and through, so of course I'm going to look at it that way. But if we can make those same thought processes, not only are we going to see better results for our athletes, but we'll also probably be happier ourselves, because we're not getting lost in the minutia of day to day. What happened on the drive in, the other things. If you keep that as your goal and focus on the big things that matter, you'll be more successful in sport and in life. All right? Dr. Brian Mann, signing out.